Hello and welcome to the Nexus. Today we're doing the Fast and Furious issue 61. Let's get going. Yes, we have the main chassis of our car. It's a massive box. It's a really big box. I'm just going to see if I can pan slightly. You can sort of see how big this box is. So it's huge. This will come as well. Remember, I've got this at the newsagents. I know one of the main questions that a lot of people ask is, will you get things like this at the newsagents? Of course you will. And you won't pay any extra for it. This is the same price as every other issue that we've gotten. So what I'm going to try and do is take it out. So it's firstly in a cardboard box, then a plastic one, like so. We have a little thingy in there, obviously, issue 61. So this is the chassis. Obviously there's panels to go on this and everything else. So let me just put this aside a second. So as you can see, that is the main part of the chassis. We've got the boot to put on as well, which I think we get in the next issue. But we have to put the doors on, obviously the top part. We have to put the outer panels on this before we then attach it to the car. But anyway, it does come with restraining struts, which are... Oh, don't know what happened there. Why did the camera just sort of go... Nah, I went down. I don't know why. Okay, so I've zoomed up a little bit. So we're going to take the restraining struts off here, which are just these screws. So we need to remove these. They don't get put back on afterwards. So I don't really know what you want to do with them. It's just so the chassis doesn't get bent during transport, basically. So that one just comes off like that as well. And then we've got the front one here. This comes off as well. And then what we need to do with this is, as you can see, I've took that one side as well. So what you're left with are these 2 and 4 screws. Once again, you don't need the screws, you don't need these. I don't know whether you want to just bin them or whatever. But we don't really need them again now. Now we've got this part sort of done now. Hang on. There we go. Sort of built. We now don't need these parts at all. So they could probably go in the bin. With the other bits. So there we go. That's what we're looking at the minute. So what we now need is the car, and we also need the steering wheel, if you can remember that far back. So let me grab all those bits. Okay, so we need the car. We need a few bits. Now there is some bits that I'm not going to use on this for practical reasons, I would say. We do need this little ring. Do you remember this little ring that we got and we put aside and we didn't know when we would use it? I can't remember exactly which issue it was. Let me double check this. I'm trying to think out where it was. Ah, okay, it was in issue 57. So in issue 57 we got this section here. And in issue 2 we got the steering wheel. I put this steering wheel somewhere and I couldn't remember where I put it. It had been that long ago. It's that long ago since we needed it. Also as well, in the last issue we got quite a lot of screws. We need the JM screws from that pack. We never used them, but we need them. That is to attach that. We also should have a little wire clip that we had before. That was in issue 56 that we've put aside. I'm not going to use that because it goes here, but I don't want to snag a lot of these wires when I do it. And putting it down here might mean that if there's a little bit of a snag or a pull on there, some of these wires might come out or loosen. And then trying to get in there to replace it would be a bit of a nightmare. So I'm going to actually leave them a little bit loose. But you've got that in issue 56. And then that just screws in, using the screws that we got in the last issue, just in behind this bulkhead here. So if I tip it and I put a light on, there we go. It just in there. So you put these wires in and it just keeps them nice and tidy. I've left them loose because, like I said, if they're in there and it gets a bit tight with everything else, it'll only take a little knock and we'll have catastrophic failure, or it might pull one of these out, and trying to repair it would be a bit of a nightmare. So in this issue, it does tell us to connect all these wires up. We've done that already. I did that in the last issue. Sort of jumped the gun a bit. It didn't tell us to do that, but I did it. Once again, I don't know why it didn't tell us to do it. I did it just to make sure it all still works. But in this issue, that is when you wire everything up. So let's get on to the steering wheel. So we need to take this little sort of, I don't know what it is. It's like this little ring, like that. And we need to place the steering wheel. So the steering wheel will go in like this. And if you remember from the last issue, we made sure that it all lines up in there, just there, as you can see. So what we've got to do now is we've got to stick our steering wheel in with this ring. I'm just going to try and figure out which way it goes. Okay, so there is a little notch, as you can see, just in there. So it goes in just like that. So we're going to put this over here like that. So that sits in just like that. And then this bit goes underneath. So what we've got to do is trying to get it on camera a little bit. Because of the way that the roll cage is, so it goes in, it is a snug fit. There it goes, like so. Now we've got to try and line it up with this little hole that's just there, so it fits perfectly. Once it's fit perfectly, we're going to put a JM screw into that slot there, and hopefully it lines everything up. So wish me luck. Okay, so that was that was really fiddly, but we got there in the end. And as you can see, it moves, which I'm happy about. And as you can see, if I move that way, if I bank right over, as you can see, it sort of moves. So let's I'll just leave that. I think I'm going to leave it right there. But anyway, that is where we're at the moment. And for some reason the camera's gone a bit lopsided. There we go. Right, so what I'm going to try and do is put this over the top, and it's a good way of storing it. So that's how the body sits on it, just like that. Obviously it's not completely stable yet because it's got to be screwed in and attached, and it's got to have this back section on. But at the moment it's okay to just be left like that, you know, getting it on and off of that Just like that. So it's a good way of storing it, because that's how I'm going to store it, just like that. So it looks like we're now finished with the interior. I'm surprised there isn't more to go in here. There may be, I don't know, but it just seems rather empty in this section. So I'm hoping we get extra bits, but it doesn't look like it, does it? Like I said, I think in the next issue we get the bonnet, or the trunk, whatever you want to call it, the boot, not the bonnet because that's that way, the boot or the trunk, and that will attach onto the main chassis section here. So that will attach onto this section just here at the back. But anyway, look, until then, I've been a Nexus. This is going to stay. It does stay there. There you go. I've been a Nexus. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.